This is a podcast about understanding counseling and how it works in everyday life. In this episode, we'll bring together the patterns we've been exploring and look at how they show up together in everyday life rather than as separate issues. Across the past few episodes, we've looked at waiting, reassurance, uncertainty, attachment, and emotional activation. On their own, each of these can seem manageable. What often makes them feel difficult is how they combine and reinforce one another. In real life, these patterns rarely arrive one at a time. A delay leads to uncertainty. Uncertainty leads to overthinking. Overthinking increases the urge for reassurance. Reassurance helps briefly, then it fades. The cycle begins again. None of this feels dramatic, it feels familiar. What's important to recognize is that patterns are not signs of something going wrong. They are ways the system has learned to manage connection, unpredictability, and emotional demand. Many people assume that if they understand one part, everything should settle. But insight usually works more gradually. Understanding reduces confusion first, not reaction. The system needs time to register that things can be held differently. One way this shows up is in everyday pacing. Conversations don't feel as urgent. Decisions don't need to be made immediately. Waiting still happens, but it no longer dominates attention in the same way. The internal volume turns down slightly. Another change people notice is how they interpret their own reactions. Instead of asking what's wrong with them, they begin asking what's been activated. That shift alone can reduce a lot of internal pressure. Relationships also tend to feel more spacious. There's more room for difference, delay, and ambiguity. Closeness is less dependent on constant confirmation. This doesn't remove the need for connection, but it changes how that need is experienced. These changes are often subtle enough that people question whether anything has shifted at all. Then they notice moments that would once have felt overwhelming passing more easily. Or they realize that they don't check, didn't reply, didn't chase reassurance in the same way they used to. Counseling supports their integration by providing continuity. Not solutions, but a place where experience can be noticed over time. When patterns are seen repeatedly in a steady environment, they lose some of their intensity. What comes together here is not a sense of techniques, but a different relationship with the internal experience. Uncertainty is no longer treated as a problem to eliminate. Anxiety becomes information rather than alarm. Attachment needs are recognized without being driven by them. This doesn't make life predictable or smooth. It makes it more navigatable, if that's a word. There's a sense of being able to stay present even when things are unresolved. Understanding how these patterns come together also helps set expectations. Change isn't about becoming calm all the time. It's about being less pulled around by what arises. That shift opens space for more choice in how you respond. And I'll repeat that again. That shift opens space for more choice in how you respond. As we move forward from here, we'll begin looking at how these internal patterns interact with everyday pressures like work, responsibility, and identity. The focus will stay on how people experience their lives, not on fixing or optimizing themselves. In the next episode, we'll start exploring how emotional patterns interact with everyday demands and why some environments feel more regulating than others.